So now let's talk about how to interpret this equation. We have our standard regression equation, y hat equals bx plus a, right? And we talked about already, b here represents the slope, right? This describes the relationship between x and y. This is the slope of the line or the rise over the run. This is the y-intercept. It is a scaling variable, right? Or not variable, it's a scaling constant, so that it corrects the scale of x to meet the scale of y. This y hat, of course, is our predicted value of y. It's not the actual value of y, it's the predicted value of y based on my equation. And x, of course, is my predictor variable. Predictor variable. So for any given value of x, I can predict an expected or an estimate or a predicted value of y. But how do we interpret this in life? So I'm going to use an equation here where I made up some numbers. Don't take this as any kind of group fact. But let's say that I was interested in seeing how much people pay attention to in class and then seeing what their GPA was. So of course their GPA, I can pull that from their records or whatever else. And maybe I have some sort of, I don't know, I have an observer checking people how they're paying attention in class. And maybe I have this observer watching a class and rating each person like 1 through 10, how much they're paying attention. What a great way to measure class participation. But anyway, I have my data and I do some analysis on it and I come up with an equation. And it'll look something like grades, or grade equals 0.11 times attention plus 2.56. Okay, this is obviously just made up numbers based on nothing. But let's say it's not. How would I interpret this? Well, given my scale for attention, I would say that my predicted grade increases by 0.11 for each additional point of attention. Right? So if I was going to compare a person who got an attention score of 2 with a person who got an attention score of 3, I would expect that second person's GPA should go up by 0.11. Right? So for every single point increase in x, I see a corresponding increase of y that's equal to b. Right? That's equal to that slope. And then, because my scale for attention, right, it's 1 through 10 or 1 through 5 or whatever I said it was, is not the same as my scale for grade, which is a 0 through 4 scale or 1 through 4 scale, I need to correct it with this 2.56. And that's going to be my y-intercept here. This is assuming, so that's overall. So my expected value is 0.11 times my value for attention plus 2.56. And again, I would interpret this as saying, the important part of this interpretation is not over here. It's right here. The important part of this interpretation is, for every single point increase in attention, I see a 0.11 point increase in GPA. Now, look, I want to be clear overall that I'm kind of less interested in making a prediction about any one particular person at this point than I am of just kind of understanding the overall relationship. But I can, and I need to be able to interpret it that way, that I can predict a single person's increase, right? And that's our understanding of what these numbers mean.